Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe MMA 195 and today we'll be taking a look at some of the biggest scandals in MMA.
Sono stato aggredito dal signor Conor McGregor, sì, proprio quel famosissimo Conor McGregor che mi ha tirato un pugno in bocca, come vedete mi ha...
Conor McGregor punches a DJ. In October of 2021, Conor McGregor reportedly assaulted Italian DJ Francisco Fascinetti at a nightclub in Rome. Though there was no footage of the incident, the DJ posted a video on social media showing cuts on his lip that he claims were inflicted by McGregor.
Probabilmente mi ha spaccato il naso, mi è uscito del sangue, adesso mi sono pulito. Mi ha aggredito all'hotel San Regis, di fronte tra l'altro a 10 miei testimoni, più i suoi amici, ovviamente le sue coppiotte guardie del corpo. Mi ha aggredito senza motivazione, visto che abbiamo parlato per più di 2 ore e ci siamo anche divertiti insieme.
Jon Jones's countless arrests.
Did you just hear a gunshot?
I did it.
You did hear one?
Yeah, I did.
Where'd it come from?
Jones's first big controversy came in 2012 when he was arrested for driving his car into a pole while under the influence. Many fans brushed this off since Jones was very young at the time, but little did they know that this was only a sign of what was yet to come. Years later in 2015, Jones was involved in a brawl with Daniel Cormier during a press conference for their coming fight at UFC 182. The fight was quickly broken up and both fighters were fined for this incident. When Jones and Cormier finally met in the octagon, Jones ultimately won the fight in a close decision.
The fight had not ended yet, but Daniel hit him after the buzzer. And then a gesture.
However, shortly after the fight, it was revealed that Jones failed a drug test, testing positive for cocaine. Jones later admitted in an interview that he used cocaine at a party weeks before his fight.
Well, you know, I had done it before, quite a few times in college. I had, experiment with it. But that's really it, I had mainly just college. It was something that I dipped and dabbed into a little bit, but never really an issue.
Many people criticized Jon Jones for being unprofessional and being a bad role model to young fans. But Jones's worst controversy was still yet to come. Later that same year, Jones was involved in a hit-and-run incident in which he crashed into another car, injuring a pregnant woman. To make matters worse, Jones left his car and fled the scene.
Jon Jones? Yeah, they said he came back and grabbed a lot of cash.
Oh, did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Self-insured.
True honor. Dude, I wonder if this is that fighter's car. Jon Jones?
He was later arrested and suspended from fighting for a year. After this incident, fans began to realize that these controversies were quickly becoming a pattern for Jon Jones, and he quickly became one of the most hated fighters in MMA. A year later, when his suspension ended, Jones claimed that he had changed and wanted a second chance. He was booked to fight Daniel Cormier at UFC 200 in a highly anticipated rematch, but the fight wouldn't happen as Jones tested positive for an estrogen blocker the night before the fight.
I'm so sorry.
Jones would once again be suspended for a year due to this failed drug test. The UFC held a press conference to announce the removal of Jon Jones from UFC 200. And when it came time for Jon Jones to speak, he was very visibly upset and crying in front of the press.
I've put in a lot of work to get back to this point, and I feel like I have to reclimb a ladder.
After a year had passed, Jon Jones was once again booked to fight Daniel Cormier. The fight would take place at UFC 214 on July 29th of 2017. This time around, all of Jones's drug tests leading up to the fight would come back clean, and the two would get to throw down in the octagon. Jones would win this fight by knockout in the 3rd round, ending the rivalry between him and Cormier.
It's over, John. It's over. You came back?
It is over. Yeah, you know what, Joe? I want to take this time to thank Daniel Cormier for being my biggest rival and motivator. Daniel Cormier, guys.
However, nearly a month after the fight, it was revealed that Jon Jones had once again failed a drug test, this time testing positive for steroids. His win over Cormier was overturned and he was once again suspended from fighting. But that wouldn't be the last time Jon Jones was involved in a huge scandal. On September 24th of 2021, Jones was arrested after a hotel security guard called 911 about a domestic incident. According to the police report, Jones's wife was found bleeding from the nose and mouth. Though she claimed that Jones never struck her and only pulled her hair, the damage on her face told a different story. When Jones was arrested, he would have a drunken meltdown as he reportedly slammed his head against the police car, leaving a dent in it. Conor McGregor attacks an old man at a pub. In 2019, McGregor would make news headlines after he was caught on camera assaulting an elderly man at a pub in Ireland. McGregor's reasoning for this assault was apparently because the man refused to drink McGregor's whiskey when offered. McGregor was sued for this incident and ended up making a public apology for his behavior. The infamous Conor McGregor bus attack. McGregor and Khabib undoubtedly had the most out-of-control rivalry in UFC history. Their whole feud began in New York, when Khabib and his team decided to confront McGregor's close friend and training partner, Artem Lobov, for bad-mouthing him in an interview.
Вот. И все равно Конор принял этот бой, даже не моргнул глазом, и вышел и победил. В то время, когда Хабиб снимался уже 6 раз. Он снимается, у него там чуть-чуть заболело, у него там задница или еще где-то, он снимается. Вес не может даже сделать.
Khabib and his team proceeded to surround Lobov and demand an apology for what he said. Lobov, now being face-to-face with Khabib, denied ever bad-mouthing him, which resulted in Khabib slapping Lobov in the face. When McGregor caught wind of what had happened, he and his teammates decided to fly out to New York and get some payback. On April 5th of 2018, McGregor and his team showed up at the Barclays Center in New York, where multiple fighters including Khabib had just gotten done promoting the upcoming UFC event. As the fighters were leaving on a bus, McGregor and his team showed up and proceeded to attack the bus, banging on the windows and throwing anything they could find. McGregor ended up smashing the bus window with a steel dolly, hurting multiple fighters on the bus and causing them to have to pull out of the upcoming event. McGregor was then fined and arrested for this incident, but was bailed out soon after. Conor McGregor breaks a fan's phone. In 2019, Conor McGregor would be caught on surveillance footage smashing and stealing the phone of a fan who was recording him. McGregor would later be arrested for this and ended up having to pay for the fan's phone. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like down below, and subscribe for more content like this.
Jones put his finger in his eye, the dirtiest fighter in MMA.